Today, we wrap up our mad scientist triple feature with Robert Wiene's silent but deadly descent into expressionistic madness. The sleepwalker is killing, the county fair blood is spilling, and all three of the How I Met Your Monster hosts are Googling what the fuck a somnambulist is as we make our way to Holstonwall to meet an evil hypnotist and his unconsenting sidekick in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
The box. You opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in the further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you meatloaf.
Surprise, Sydney.
Come on, don't be chicken shit.
Welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Make sure to follow How I Met Your Monster on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and also on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're all over the place at How I Met Your Monster. And you can also find us on Patreon at How I Met Your Monster, where we do monthly commentary episodes, and you will have access to our first 50 episodes, which are not available on the free podcast platforms. So make sure to check out Patreon at How I Met Your Monster for that. And you can even join as a free member. Just be like we've got like a group chat going. Just be like a member of the community. Come hang out, and you'll be able to stay up to date on like our watch-alongs and all that kind of stuff. So
Well, I was going to say, speaking of watch-alongs, is we do watch-alongs every month.
Mhm.
They're really fun. They're free. You just literally, if you follow our socials, you'll see once a month, usually toward the end of the month, we'll do a watch-along on a Friday night. We have a group chat feature, so you're not in the watch-along. It's just, you'll just see our faces. We'll talk and give commentary. You'll be in the group chat, pure anonymity if you want it. But they have a feature on Patreon that is very similar to the group chat, because it's literally a group chat.
it's kind of like
but yeah,
Discord,
it's
but it's just like
Yeah.
one. It's just like one thing. It's not like different rooms. It's just like one thing.
Yeah.
And so sign up for Patreon for free and just see what's going on and see if you like it. Okay. Today we are closing out our Mad Scientist triple feature with a influential horror movie that's been around for like 105 years.
crazy.
Been around for like
It's been around for
105
about
years.
105 years.
105 years. It's the cabinet of Dr. Caligari from 1919, 1920.
I also saw it in 1921. So
Oh, did you
that
really?
doesn't- Yeah. I thought it was 1920, and then I read 21.
Okay.
I think Shutter said 21.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Who the fuck directed this movie? M. Night Shyamalan?
I know there is this it has a twist that by like today's standards feels generic until you realize it's the first twist. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you can do that, obviously.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this before? Danny, this was your pick for our triple feature. Had you seen it before?
Yeah, I'd only seen this once before. It was during the 2019, I think it was 2019, maybe 2018 Brooklyn Horror Film Festival.
Oh, maybe the 1919, maybe 1920?
Oh,
Maybe it was 1921
the
Brooklyn Horror
100
Film
year.
Festival.
That
Yeah.
would make sense.
Oh.
What if they got it wrong too? They were like, they put all this money into screening it, and then they're like, oh, it's next year.
It's next year.
No, I saw it at the film festival. I had a pass somehow, and you had like X amount of movies that you could go to. And I was like, oh, I've never seen this. It'd be kind of cool to see such an old movie on the big screen.
Right.
So I did. And they had this live it was a live orchestra, but it was this sort of this is a movie podcast. I'm bad at like describing music, but
Sure.
it wasn't techno, but it wasn't like classical. It was this very grungy, and I mean that in a good way, just kind of grungy sort of
All very different kinds of music.
yeah, it was just kind of weird, but in a very cool. And they did a whole live score throughout the movie, so it felt kind of like a modern interpretation of kind of like what you think of as like a classic old school like film score of that time.
Okay, so they didn't use the music that was in the movie.
No,
was that music in the movie like back in the day?
That's a good question, because I have heard, I think this happens with a lot of silent films, is where it depends on the version that you watch. You'll get a different score in some
Mhm.
cases. So I have not watched, this is the only time I've ever watched this movie, this version, like
Okay.
at home. So I have
Yeah.
nothing else to compare. The only thing I can compare it to is the live thing, which obviously I don't, has never been recreated or put onto the movie in a way that you can watch at home.
Yeah.
That makes any sense.
Well, I mean, if you watch the fucking Three Amigos, it opens with a silent film, and there's a dude in the theater where they're watching it, and he's playing the piano along with
Yeah,
it.
well,
So
a
it's-
lot of people don't know
Mhm.
that the Three Amigos, you actually get a different score every time you watch it, depending on who's
Yeah.
playing that night.
right.
So there's always a live score attached to any time you watch the Three Amigos.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why it's like a classic,
Yeah,
why it holds up.
that's why it's a classic.
I did get to see Raiders of the Lost Ark in front of a live orchestra,
Oh,
and they
that's
just
cool.
took the music track out and then just played everything
What if they-
live. And that
What
was
if they
cool.
did the same thing they did for my experience, and it's just like someone's interpretation of what they
Yeah.
would want, and it's not even remotely close to
It's
John
like a
Williams'
kid with
score.
a keyboard. He's like, dang,
Yeah.
keyboard. And he's like, dang, dang, dang,
Beep,
dang,
beep,
dang.
beep, 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 beep.
Casey, have you seen this movie before?
I watch it every night when I go to bed.
Oh, dude, it'll put you to fucking sleep.
I know.
Not only
It just
is it
did.
not only is it fucking silent, but like the first 10 minutes, it's like it's blinking. It's like,
Yeah.
go to sleep.
And it's
Go to
about
sleep.
a guy he's been
Sleeps.
sleeping for 23 years. I'm like, man, that sounds nice.
So, no, I have never seen it. I had the volume way up and then I turned it down. Like halfway through, I turned it down to like what I would normally have my TV at when I went to sleep. And I was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
might watch it when I go to sleep.
It is. It's sort of like, I like to put on those ASMR ambient videos
Oh, yeah, for
on
sure.
YouTube when I'm writing, and it'll be like a still life from a horror movie or something.
Mhm.
And silent films kind of have that vibe.
Yeah.
You get
Yeah.
some of the sound, but not too much where it's overwhelming or deafening.
Falling asleep has nothing to do with whether or not I liked it. So
You were just cosplaying as Caesar.
yeah, that's exactly it. No, I'll fall asleep anywhere, anytime.
Casey, I have another question. Did you kill anyone while sleeping, whilst watching this movie?
I
Do you have any recollection of it?
don't know. How would I know?
Oh, that's true.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like Brain Scan. You guys ever see Brain Scan?
Never seen
He like
that.
plays the video game, and like when he's in the game, he's like the killer, and then he wakes up and it's like it really happened, and he's like,
Oh, that's
it
fun.
was just a game, and then the guy's like, no, it's not. Anyways,
If that happened to us, we'd be sucked into the game killing people, and we'd still have a bunch of like 13-year-olds yelling at us, being like, "You don't know how to play this fucking game, you loser!"
God, they're so mean.
They're so mean.
Mm.
The real monster.
Damn, yeah.
You know who you are.
Okay. Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Yeah, this is like a really influential movie. So you talked about there being like a M. Night Shyamalan kind of twist
Mhm.
at the end, even though it was like really an M. Night Shyamalan twist is really a Dr. Caligari twist.
M. Night Shyamalan was just like a little kid when this came out
Yeah.
in 1920.
It reminded me, well, spoiler alert, I guess.
Yeah, big
If for-
spoiler alert.
For
I think I know what you're
any
going to say.
movie ever, it's a Martin Scorsese movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that narrows it down a bit.
Are we
If you
not
wanna
going to say the name?
I'm giving our listeners a chance
It's
to skip forward without
it's
because saying it's a spoiler.
title does have a connection to this movie also, in that I watched this movie on a streaming platform
Oh,
that has
okay.
the name of the movie in
But
it, but it's
spelled
spelled
differently.
different.
I was going to
And
say,
if you were to watch it in Jamaica or the Bahamas, you would be also on a geographical location that is also in the title. So,
It's Shutter Island.
yeah.
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 Cabinets go in houses. Houses have shutters.
Yep. Shutters. You can watch it on Shutter. You go to Jamaica.
Yeah.
On an island.
It's all there. So yeah, it was very at the end I was like, oh damn, this is very, very Shutter Island, which is a really fucking good movie. I like that.
Yeah, now I'm like kicking myself. I wish I had done a little digging into whether or not it had to have some influence, because I
Oh,
don't
sure.
think of
Yeah, I'm sure.
we're about to kind of do a little deep dive into the kind of subgenre that this movie is in, which is German Expressionism. And I think having a kind of a good understanding of that kind of helps also kind of understand and appreciate this movie. But I don't think of Martin Scorsese when I think of German Expressionistic influence.
Right.
So,
Right.
though I guess I guess it could be more of a writer thing rather than
Yeah, because it was a
Martin.
book
Martin.
first. Oh,
Have you
Marty.
guys ever heard of I Am the Cheese?
I Am the Cheese.
Mhm.
No.
I know. No.
It's a novel from the 70s.
Okay.
And it's about this kid. And it's all these stories of him like riding his bike and like meeting all of these people, like the baker down the street and all this stuff. I mean, obviously it's a lot more detailed, but this is what I remember about it. I read it when I was in like 8th grade. And he's telling all these stories about all of these people he's meeting on this adventure. And then at the end, you find out that he's just a kid riding his bike around the yard at the mental institution.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Super
That's
sad.
pretty cool.
Like fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I liked it.
God
that is
damn.
pretty cool.
Um,
Okay, so before we jump into the movie, I think it'll help to do a kind of crash course on German Expressionism. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is basically the OG when it comes to German Expressionist films. So to begin, I promise this will be quick and painless.
Mm.
Picture it, Sicily, 1962. No, I'm kidding. Well, Golden Girls reference for you gays.
Can I say something, or is it going to be like spoiling trivia during our watch-alongs? Should I just keep my mouth shut?
Fucking throw it out there, bro.
The fucking sets were so fucking cool.
Of
Yeah.
course they were.
Like
Really
the trippy
beautiful.
like angles and all the
Yes.
shadow play and all that stuff. It
And
was
that is
really
not
cool.
I mean, obviously it's not by accident, but that is very much in the DNA of like what makes a German expressionist, not even movie, but like anything like in the world of art.
Okay.
There's a reason.
Cool. So I did spoil trivia. Great.
Yeah, so thanks for ruining that. Kidding.
I love that there's just always been weirdos.
Oh,
Yes.
that weirdos have just like existed.
Yeah, there's just
Since
always
the
been
dawn of
weird
time.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But in terms of this, so in terms of like the history of where this kind of subgenre comes from, it was the end of World War I. Germany obviously lost, and things were pretty bleak. On top of that, there was a ban on all imports into the country, including any films made outside of Germany. So there wasn't just a rise in German-made movies at the time, but you saw this bleak, nihilistic view pretty much everywhere in paintings, poetry, theater, and of course, film. This style basically consumed German art from the 1910s to the 1930s, and it was dark, it was surreal, it was self-reflective, and it was a response to all that anxiety and post-war fatigue. In one part of the world, you had the American dream, but in Germany, it was a nightmare. And you saw that in the way artists presented not only German culture, but Germany's entire kind of collective outlook on life. Visually, German Expressionism has a very distinct look. There's a lot of disorienting architecture, dark shadows, kind of dreamy, surreal sets. Even the angles are designed to, make you feel uneasy. And that brings us to this movie, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The movie's two screenwriters, Hans Janowitz and Karl Mayer, fought in World War I, so that sense of disillusionment was very much top of mind when they were writing it. And, you can interpret this movie in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, the main takeaway is that you're seeing this distorted view of reality through the eyes of someone who himself is living through his own disillusionment. The audience is promised the story about a man recalling the events of a madman who removes someone's autonomy for his own benefit, only to find out that the madman is an authority figure and the narrator is the villain, even though we have no evidence to suggest that this is true. So in the end, we're witnessing a world in which we cannot possibly survive without people in positions of power having some kind of hold on us, no matter the cost. It's that removal of identity replaced with conformity and a strong authoritarian grip that laid the foundation for what we have come to know as one of the most influential subgenres in horror fiction, German Expressionism.
God damn.
Yeah, I like the guy's makeup.
Yeah. Also, makeup, very cool.
Very
the makeup
cool.
was very cool.
Mhm.
Jesus, Danny, there's like a fucking dark cloud coming over us now.
Yes. Yeah.
That was
It's
fucking
very,
sad.
very bleak. It's very sad. But I mean, in a lot of like bleak and sad things, there arises the phoenix from the ashes. Obviously,
Because then you also got Nosferatu.
Mhm.
Nosferatu, you have,
Mhm.
which was H.W. Murnau, I believe. Or no, H.W. Murnau. And then you had Fritz Lang, who did like Metropolis and M.
Metropolis.
Do you know that
Yeah.
Fritz Lang he had done a movie kind of similar to, I was going to say The Island of Dr. Moreau. This is going to fuck it. This whole triple feature is so like mind warping.
It's all entwined. Yeah.
Cabin of Dr. Caligari. The name escapes me right now, but it was literally had the same kind of value system as Caligari, in which like it's all about like authoritarianism and like having this grip on people, making people kind of conform and like do what you want to do, to the point that is it who is the fucking Hitler's what's his name? Joseph, is it
Goebbels?
I'm not pronouncing, is it Goebbels?
Who the fuck are you guys talking about?
You don't know who Goebbels is?
He wanted to hire Fritz Lang to be Hitler's like movie guy. To,
Oh
like,
shit! You got a
run
movie guy?
the propaganda.
Adolf, you got
like,
a movie guy?
Yeah, like to make the propaganda movies for Hitler.
Oh,
Fritz Lang
yeah.
was like, no, he
Yeah.
pieced the fuck out like right away and went to Paris for a while and then bounced from there over to the US,
Jesus.
where he obviously continues his career. And then kind of German Expressionism, kind of that influence spread even more, obviously after the war too. But it's really dark, really bleak. That's why this whole movie is very much like we're not quite there, and like we're like 20 years out before like Hitler and the Nazi Party was what it was and had the influence that it had. But obviously there was something in the DNA that was brewing in Germany, and just like in that whole culture of the moment and everything. And it was which is always not always the case, which is the case a lot of times in history, is the artists are kind of seeing that and portraying that and kind of showing what most people are thinking or afraid of.
Well, it's like, art is all just like from your life experiences, right? And they couldn't see, like you said, that they couldn't, no films could be imported, right? So like they didn't have anything to be like, oh, I want to make a movie like this, or I want to make a movie like that. It was just like, it all came from within themselves, and they were all fucking depressed and shit.
Yep. And you see that a lot. I mean, there's this great documentary called oh fuck my dick. It's like horror in red, white, and blue.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, it's called Fuck My Dick.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I've seen that documentary.
Yes. You should watch it. It's the last time I watched it was on Amazon. I think it's still on Amazon.
It's called porn.
I watch that documentary all the time. No, it's called Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue. And the documentary looks at it's specifically about American history, but how each decade in American history tackled it was like responding, how film and horror specifically was responding to the times.
Oh, sure.
So, obviously the 50s, and like you had the scare and everything.
Well, that's like the popularity of horror. It's like a seesaw. Because like with the political climate, and now it's like,
everyone was happy in the 90s. So horror was kind of like, what do we talk about?
Yeah. And now it's like fucking at its peak right now, because we've just got just shit.
We're literally living in a nightmare.
Yeah.
I just fucking love this genre so much. And I think if ever there was a reason for someone to like defend the horror genre, just like look at history, be like, what other genre is, yes, you can like have a retelling of something that happened, or you can have a sort of like existential subconscious like reaction depicted in like how your subconscious sees these like nightmarish things that are happening in your life and how you feel, rather than what necessarily just like happened, if that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense, but
no, it does make sense. You see it in the title cards.
Exactly.
They were all like crazy font in this movie. It was all like,
Everyone's
wow.
just like, I'm not. They're like, this was supposed to be an Arial Times New Roman. It's like, yeah, well, I'm not writing it in Times New Roman, okay, Franz.
Well, okay, dang, that's cool. Thank you, Danny, for the history lesson.
Thanks for listening.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. Are you guys ready to head to Danny? Where's it called? Hoffelsmeister? Hoffels?
Yes. Yeah.
Hoffelsberg.
Mhm.
Where are we going?
Holstenwall.
Holstenwall.
Hoffelsmeister.
Hoffelsmeisterberg.
Are you guys ready to go to there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to there.
And meet Caesar and Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Caligari looks like my brother's ex-wife.
Oh, speaking of influence, though, I think one of like maybe the most obvious examples of this is Tim Burton.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
So if you look at his movies, like not just like the look of his movies, but even just narratively and his characters. But you were talking about Dr. Caligari looking like people. Do you not see like a lot of visual comparisons to or similarities to the Penguin in Batman Returns?
Yeah.
I sure do.
You know, it's funny you talk about Tim Burton because I found a lot of similarities to Pee-wee's Big Adventure in this.
Oh
Or she
no!
fucking
I'm
did.
just saying.
Oh
I'm just saying.
What about Big Top Pee-wee? There's a fucking circus.
Yeah, well, that's not Tim Burton. That's not Tim Burton.
Oh, my bad. It doesn't matter.
Well, just hear me out when we get there. Just hear me out.
I'm not going to combat you on it. I'm just trying to give you more Pee-wee.
Yeah,
that was the point.
That is tough. It's hard.
Don't we all need a little more Pee-wee?
Yeah,
it's a Pee-wee wee wee.
Okay.
Yeah, but I watched this before. I'm sorry, I know we want to get into it, but I watched this really great video on YouTube where there were these. Not only were there similarities drawn between the cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Tim Burton, but there was a specific connection made between that movie and Edward Scissorhands, where basically Edward Scissorhands is sort of the idealized, more sentimental and optimistic, even though it is very bittersweet in that movie, no spoilers, it is a more sentimental take on the cabinet of Dr. Caligari in a way. Edward literally looks like Caesar. He has this scientist who kind of birthed him.
Okay.
He goes out into the world and he's met with, he's kind of judged by his looks. But in Edward Scissorhands, obviously, people are at least more willing to accept him.
Don't spoil it. Don't tell the people he's got scissors for hands.
Yeah, and then Caesar has scissors for hands too. Well, he has forks. They wanted to up the
for salad?
ante.
Caesar salad?
Yeah. Oh no, salad fingers. But yeah, that's my plug for Tim Burton. Where are you, Tim?
Gotta let the people know about Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this guy. He's gonna be big stuff someday.
Okay, well, for the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, we have 7 official reveals. And we are counting, as monsters in this movie, we are counting Caligari himself, and we are counting Caesar, who is kind of like
his patsy.
You know, it's kind of like what we did in Tusk. We had Howard Howe, who was like our mad scientist monster,
like
and then
M monster.
That's right. And then we had his creation, which was
lowercase
Wallace the Walrus. So that's how we're going to play it for Dr. Caligari. Danny, this was your pick for our Mad Scientist triple feature. Could you please read IMDb's synopsis?
Yes, and I would like to just say I am satisfied with this. Spoiler alert.
Okay.
I feel like it does. It's very economical.
They can only, all the good ones are like the fucking 1919, 1920s movie. It takes them like 100 years to fucking figure out a good synopsis.
They're like, we got it. We cracked the code. IMDb synopsis. Hypnotist Dr. Caligari uses a somnambulist, Caesar, to commit murders.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
thought it was going to be more
I
based
thought,
on your
yeah, me too.
reaction,
It just-
but
yeah.
I guess I was
That's
maybe I
fine.
was more because we've had ones where it's like chapter 1, you know, and then they like detail like these specifics that are like
stuff like doesn't need to be in a synopsis, and this one's really lean and mean,
Straight to the
as they
point.
say. Yep.
to the point.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to watch this movie while you're sleeping. It's very blinky.
Or watch it mildly drunk and you're like, oh my God, movies are just beautiful. I love film.
Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really something to look at. Like, I love those sets. They're all like, the sets all seem so small, but there's so many like perspectives that it makes it just seems like bigger than they actually probably are. And sometimes people will like go into a door or like come out of somewhere that like you didn't know was there, and it's just like hidden.
It's
really
disorienting. Cool. It feels, a big thing with German Expressionism too was they were less concerned with logic than they were about feeling. You know, you hear a lot about that with like a David Lynch movie. It's like, don't worry about figuring it out. What did you feel after you saw the movie?
Yeah.
That's basically like, not saying that that's like the root of that, but got the same flavors.
Yeah. I wish people weren't so fucking money hungry these days, because it'd be cool to see some more shit like this get made, you know, but it's always like
art. I feel like we've traded in art for fart, you know, it's just empty air.
Okay, and you're like, fucking everyone knows that farts make a lot of money. Yeah. And so
we already know that.
Stop the farts, they're stinky.
Yeah.
Let's do the art.
Just art with a capital F. Fail.
Yep. Fuck. So the first time we see Dr. Caligari is in an honorable mention. He's just like fucking walking up the stairs, because the movie's set up with this gentleman, Francis, talking to an older man, kind of the way, you know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like that movie Clifford with Martin Short.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Also German expressionistic movie.
Where he's like the old priest and he's talking to the fucking little kid. But
you know, sorry, I know we're about to go off on another tangent, but we have talked a lot. I think about what's the movie we were talking? Fudge. Basket Case. We did Basket Case 3. So
proudly,
we talked about. I think I mentioned this in the episode, where there is this weirdly disorienting style in early 90s movies, this kind of Playhouse look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
With the colors, and it almost feels like an echo of German Expressionism, which sounds so pretentious. Oh, no,
I'm sure that's exactly what Trauma was going for.
But you know what I mean? It's like...
For sure. Trauma, very much. It's like
the sets are designed to be kind of off, you know, and it's usually in horror.
Well, I'm telling, like, you see that in Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
which like, also is
you get
kind
a lot of trippy,
strange
stuff.
Telling you, man, like the end of World War I defined filmmaking as we know it.
Yeah.
Thanks, World War I.
We wouldn't have Basket Case 3 without you.
This episode, I'm dedicating this to world wars.
Oh,
what do you think?
Great.
Should we take a stance finally?
Let's. Oh God.
My screen just goes black. Zach just boots me out of the show.
Just like we're recording this on the night that fucking Trump and Putin had a fucking phone call.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I literally, as I was saying that, I was like, am I putting something into the universe right now, or like World War III is just gonna kick off?
Oh God.
Shut up.
World War III brought to you by Sony.
Danny, stop it.
It's be a corporate funded war.
But you know what I love about this opening scene, where the dude's like, he sees who will later come to know as Jane, right? She's like walking around and her eyes are like fucking rolled back in her head or some shit. And he's like, he says to the old guy, he's like, he's basically like, that's my wife. We've seen some weird shit. More weird shit than you've ever seen, buddy. It's like, oh, Okay.
In fact, let me tell you one of the weird shits we've seen.
Yeah.
So were we not supposed to know that they were in a mental institution in the beginning?
Correct.
It's not. Yeah, we're not supposed to.
Because I like just did.
Oh, did you? Like,
Yeah, but the way she was walking, it's like she's
Yeah.
not
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know what to think.
He said they were haunted by spirits, and he's like, I'm going to tell you why. So I guess maybe the justification of like how weird she was acting was sort of like, especially of the time, it's like,
Yeah.
she was like, she saw some fucked up shit, and like,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you why she's like this.
Right.
But yeah, I think from like a modern lens, it feels like obvious. Like, oh,
Well, yeah, I didn't know because I
something's-
didn't really know what this movie was all about. And so like
Yeah.
when she comes out, he says something about spirits, and then she comes out, and I was like, oh, like, is she a ghost?
She the
Is she
ghost?
going to be like
Yeah.
the monster of the movie? Like, what's going on?
Well, I may have only thought that because you guys had like put the idea of an asylum in my head because you talked about
Oh.
the second one or the remake where the women are horny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
1989, there's a movie called Dr. Caligari about some lady who's put into an asylum because she has a overactive libido. But Francis is like telling the story, right? And we meet Alan, and Alan goes over to Francis's house, and he's like, hey, let's go to the fucking fair. And this is the first moment that I realized that this was basically Pee-wee's Big Adventure, because it doesn't seem like Francis wants to go. And
No.
so, but you know what Francis does want? Your bike. So stupid.
the driver, right?
No,
What?
that's Large
Who am I
March.
thinking of?
That's
Oh,
Large March.
Marge.
Francis is the bad guy in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
He steals his fucking bike.
I haven't seen Pee-wee's Big
That's not gonna
Adventure
help.
since I was maybe 5 years old.
Oh, Danny, that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart.
So Francis is the villain?
Yeah. He's
So
Chubbs.
that must...
He's Chubbs from
Yeah.
Teen
How is
Wolf,
that not-
and he's fucking the dude from Leprechaun, whatever his name is.
The dumb one.
The first Leprechaun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's Mark Holton. That's Francis.
Okay, so wait a minute. So I was just like, that was his directorial debut, right?
Tim Burton's, yes.
And his one of the most influential movies in his entire career is the movie we're talking about today. The fact that he named the villain Francis cannot be a coincidence.
No, probably not.
That's
See, I'm fucking telling you.
crazy.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure is
Oh
a
my God.
Dr. Caligari remake.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, okay. So they go to the fair, but here's our first reveal.
Yeah.
Dr. Caligari goes to the town crier? What the fuck's his name? The town
The clerk.
town clerk, thank you. The town clerk. And he's like pissed because the clerk's like making him wait.
Mhm.
He's like,
Yeah.
Imagine if he had to go to the DMV.
oh my God. He'd be
That's
fucking
the
killing
sequel,
everybody.
Dr. Caligari at the DMV. He has a whole. If he was alive today, he'd have like a whole YouTube thing where it's like, how's Caligari going to handle this situation? And it's just him getting mad at like Dr. Caligari goes to the supermarket.
Fucking-
And it always ends with him having Caesar kill someone.
It's the department of Dr. Caligari's motor vehicles. But yeah, this is our first reveal. This is where we kind of figure out that Dr. Caligari has like this spectacle, I guess.
Calls it a spectacle. He says, I
A
want to
spectacle.
present a spectacle at the fair. And they're like,
Uh-huh.
what's the spectacle? And he says, a somnambulist. And then I said, what's a somnambulist? And then Siri said, a sleepwalker.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Casey?
Yeah.
You knew what that was for real?
No.
Oh, I thought maybe you would have because you're sleepy and you like that shit.
You're supposed to say I'm smart.
Oh.
But do you know what happens right after?
You're sleepy and you like weird shit.
Do you know what happens right after the town clerk?
Gets off his big fucking stool.
Yeah. You know,
What?
when he tells him that he's like giving Caligari shit.
Hmm.
Cut to the town clerk has been killed.
Oh, yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a sharp mind might draw a connection to the fact that maybe Dr. Caligari had the town clerk killed.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they kind of give it away really early, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, what's on your hands? Blood. Whose blood? The town clerk's. Ah, a twist.
If it wasn't for you damn kids, I would have got away with it. Yeah, so he is our prime suspect right now. And then
some might say the only suspect. Some might say the killer.
Francis and Alan go to the fair and they see Francis and Alan go to the fair. I love that.
Like, you want to go see a guy sleeping? Like, no, he's sleeping? Yeah, he's asleep.
He's not sleeping.
Oh shit, let's go.
Yeah, it kind of, the idea of this kind of confused me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because so Caligari introduces his spectacle that he says is a, how do you say it? Somnambulist.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude's 23 years old and he's been sleeping for 23 years, night and day.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
How do you
So
prove that?
I just assumed it was a gimmick, right? Like they were just like in it together. And he was like just like an act, obviously, because they're like a swindler, like trying to get people's money.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't the show be like, watch me hypnotize this guy as he's sleepwalking and like clearly asleep, doing things like in a sort of obviously it's not a literal connection, but the visual that popped in my head was Weekend at Bernie's. Like someone like not there. Obviously he's dead in the movie, but like he's just sort of like not there and he's moving. But in this one, he's just like, wake up. And Caesar wakes up and he's like,
Caesar's not really sleepwalking.
Ta-da.
He's just pretending to be asleep.
Yeah.
He's walking around and I'm telling you, he's asleep.
When
They're like, oh damn.
When the fucking, I guess, is that the cabinet? Is that the
Yeah.
When the cabinet opens up, what did you guys immediately think of?
Dracula.
Casey? I'm counting on you for this one.
Oh no, that means I got it wrong.
It's all on you.
Pee-wee.
Fucking beef. It was beef.
No.
That's how beef
I thought he looked sleepy because of the dark bags under his eyes, which didn't make any sense because he had been asleep forever.
That's how beef is introduced in The Phantom of the Paradise.
Well, you know how much I loved that movie.
The casket and they open it up.
Good. Beef is maybe one of the greatest characters we've met on this show.
Beef.
Yeah. Fucking, I love it. That was, fucking beef. So it reminded me of beef. I do love, though, your observation that he wouldn't have bags under his eyes if he was fucking sleeping for 20
Yeah, been sleeping forever. He's not tired.
But this is our second reveal. This is when he wakes up Caesar and he's like, ask him a question. He knows the past and he can see the future somehow. It's not like he fucking studied.
He's a
Francis
sleepwalker.
And Alan ask him, like, Alan's like,
not a fortune teller. Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, these are like great points though.
I love the movie.
Yeah.
But,
the logic is just like,
Yeah.
or not even the logic. It's the point of the show and the way the show is executed.
Yeah. I guess they were easily entertained back then. We've got way too much in front of us now. It takes a lot more for us to,
That's true.
Yeah, back
we've
then,
seen a lot more.
Caligari's like, he has been asleep for 23 years. Everyone's like, in the crowd is like, okay.
Bullshit.
No, they're like, I believe it. Nowadays, they'd be like, I was like, wow, shit. Okay, 23 years. Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. All right.
Craziest thing I've ever seen, actually.
Cool. Oh, and he can tell the future?
Oh, damn. What are you going to say?
For sure.
Oh, well. Okay.
But Alan asks him, when am I going to die? Or something like that. And Caesar's like, the break of dawn, buddy. Goodbye.
Like,
how long will I live?
How long will I live until the break of dawn?
Until dawn.
Okay. So I guess at that moment, Caligari was like, you asked a stupid fucking question. You're going to I'm going to kill you. Like, what was that about?
I don't think it mattered what question they asked.
Oh, okay. He just like,
if they asked him a question, they got killed. That's what they said at the end.
We have to go to the twist. Is it okay if we just kind of like talk about this with the twist in mind?
Of course.
Or do we want to say
Yeah.
Okay.
So we always
listening
talk
to the
about
show?
the ending at the beginning of the show. And we're fucking 30 minutes in or whatever.
And the twist itself is a little confusing. The logic is a little strange because the idea is that Francis is in the mental asylum. He's a patient and he's telling his version of what he sees as reality, where like he's taking people who he knows around the asylum and he's crafted the story.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the idea is that diary that they find from the director later, where it tells the story of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari being the story that the director is kind of like trying to recreate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that really was a story that Francis found, or Francis killed his friend Alan, and that's what got him into the asylum. And that this is his memory.
Yeah.
Because Alan isn't in the asylum as far as I remember. So maybe he actually did kill this friend of his, or maybe it's not his friend, maybe it's just a person.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the twist at the end. Like Francis is the killer.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're led to believe. Because then, and we'll obviously get to it, you know, we were talking a lot about this sort of how these filmmakers were trying to tell stories about people, essentially mind control and conformity and kind of losing autonomy for the powers that be, kind of having this like iron grip on people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like led to believe that Francis actually is the quote unquote bad guy because he's a patient in the asylum, when in reality maybe Caligari still is, as the director, the bad guy, because he still in his own way is trying to control Francis.
Mm.
We're jumping. I know it's tough. I'm just trying to understand, mostly just trying to understand Alan's role, and then we can get to the ending.
Well, because here, after they leave the carnival, they meet Jane, and very quickly Francis says, Alan, we both love her.
Yeah.
It's like after one night. And my thought was, he said, let's let her choose between us, because like, of course you would want one of us.
Yeah.
Let's let her choose, and whoever she picks stands, and the other one, and we'll remain friends. I thought she was going to pick that night. She was going to pick Alan, and then Francis was going to be like, nope. Yeah. And was going to go and kill Alan.
Maybe that's what happened in reality.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I actually thought that was going to be very different, because in the 20s and, the 30s, as we learned from Wolfman, men hated women. So I thought that it was going to be, she can choose one of us was a lot better than I thought it was, than the conversation was going to go.
You thought it would be more like he would maybe put her in a position where she felt forced to choose.
Yeah. Instead, he was really nice about it.
He was. And he said that they could remain friends. That was really sweet. I was expecting a big old fucking dick swinging contest, But
that was off screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sword fight.
Yeah. So Jane was just a patient. I'm just trying to think of, I feel like there is a world in which we truly figure out
we need a prequel.
True story. We need a prequel.
Yeah.
Oh, I wrote, Francis points out that they both love Jane, even though they're both clearly gay.
They need a beard.
Yeah.
So,
they need a beard? What do you mean?
You don't know what a beard is?
Oh, wait a second. This is something that, like, not just like a facial hair beard, but like, is this like a term?
Yeah. In the gay community, well, a beard is like a closeted man's wife. To prove that, to quote unquote prove that he is not gay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cody's my beard.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, you're so not gay. You're like, I don't want to come out to my family as straight yet. So.
But okay. Speaking of Alan getting killed, this is our third reveal. Yes. Alan gets killed by, we think it's Caesar, right? But it's just shadows. Which is pretty cool. It goes into that whole like trippy aesthetic with like the angles and all the German Expressionism.
And it also proves yet again the influence that this movie had on modern films. That scene with the shadows directly inspired the film The Shadow. with Alec Baldwin.
No, it didn't.
We
Fuck
would have
you.
never had it.
Fuck
Yeah,
you.
without-
Danny's joking.
Wait.
without
You
Look
this
at that
movie.
smirk.
Mhm.
Damn, you would have had
And,
me too.
Peter
I believed
Pan. Shadow
Yeah,
of Peter
Peter Pan.
Pan.
you. Mm-hmm.
For
Wouldn't
sure.
exist.
Peter Pan stabbed the fuck out of Wendy.
When was Peter Pan?
1922.
Oh,
No, J.M. Barrie wrote that in before.
In
The
before.
1800s. Yeah.
in the before time.
in the
Yeah.
before times.
But yeah, that was a cool
Which-
scene.
Was made into a movie starring Johnny Depp, who is or at least was a Tim Burton favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah.
there, folks.
Damn, it's all connected.
A Peter Pan movie?
Finding
Yeah.
Neverland.
Well, it's Finding Neverland. It's about
Oh.
It's a very good movie. I love
Mhm.
it. Mark
I've seen it.
Foster, Kate Winslet.
yeah, it's about he plays the writer of Peter Pan.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make you cry. Superman, you'll believe a man can fly. Watch Finding Neverland, you'll believe anyone can cry. You know?
So Francis goes to the cops. Then he goes to fucking Jane's dad, Mr. Olson. Is that it?
Dr. Olson.
Dr. Olson. But he says, but Dr. Olson says he's going to get police authorization.
The police officers are coming. You better get at it.
Dude,
Die.
speaking of that, fucking Caligari reminded me of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did he not? He totally
Yeah.
looked like Scrooge McDuck. So it's fitting that I
Maybe they all talk like
Succotash.
that and we'd never know.
we never
'cause of
know.
the
Yeah.
silent movie.
Wouldn't that be funny if like you could hear an actual recording of them doing this and it was just
or
like
the text had like the S's were all
But they're speaking German with the list.
damn.
damn it.
I can't speak German, so I can't.
I can say Danke.
Schweine Schlampe.
Oh, Feine Flampe.
Ich komme mit dem Bassuschula.
If come on, what?
Ich komme mit dem Bassuschula.
What's that mean?
I ride the bus to school.
Are you a German interpreter? We had no idea.
Right, the
Yeah.
bus to
Schweine Schlampe means pig slut.
Mm.
Oh,
My German
Pig
boss
slut.
taught me how to say that.
Oh,
I hope it's not because he called you that.
No, I called him that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I like this guy.
No.
he calls his employees pig sluts.
No, we asked him how to say certain things, and now we call him
Oh, I
things.
see.
Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah. Who asked him how to say pig slut?
So his son was telling us how to say pig something in German, and then I was like, well, what about pig slut? And then I was joking, and I was like, doesn't that mean old man? And he's like, no.
Oh. Okay, but Dr. Olson is going to get police authorization to examine Caesar. In the meantime,
At the end of Act 42, the amount of act
Oh my
breaks in
God.
this movie are a little absurd. But
right. But in our fourth reveal, Jane meets Caligari outside his tent at the fair. I guess it's kind of like uneventful, but he's like, "Here, come inside. I'll show you my cabinet." Jane, you want to see
It's
my
like, I'll give you the
cabinet?
show for free. Most people pay for this.
You want to see my Caesar you want to open up my cabinet and see my Caesar? That's
She's the one with the cabinet.
That never works. I always try to
Oh.
use it as a pickup line. And
Do you want to
No one
open
gets
my
it. People don't get it?
cabinet? Or is it, do you want to see my Caesar?
both. Sometimes I change the order around. I want to open my Caesar and show you my cabinet.
Oh, okay.
And everyone's like, this is stupid. You should stop this.
Yeah, so 4 and 5 kind of blend together because it's like one scene, but she does meet both monsters. So she meets Caligari outside the tent, then she goes inside and is introduced to Caesar. And she kind of just has he opens his eyes real slow and she I don't know, does she fucking faint or does she scream or something? And it's like, just a dude
Yeah,
waking
it's the
up.
classic overacting in a silent
He's
film.
not waking up. He's never woken up.
Oh, so when he's doing all this stuff, he's still sleeping.
Yeah.
These people aren't real.
No, because the whole point is that because it's from Francis's POV, it's sort of like he's been sleepwalking through life. And the only people
Okay.
who seem to have any control over what he does or doesn't do are his doctors. And in this case, Dr. Caligari. In the real world, it's through mind control. So it's that idea, it's that theme of that iron grip we were talking about,
Yeah.
about how the powers that be kind of control us. We have no autonomy.
So So, going to the ending where it's a twist and you find out that Francis is the killer, Caesar doesn't really exist.
Caesar is just in his mind he's still a patient.
He's a
real
patient in the
patient.
thing, right? Okay, yep.
And the
Yep,
irony
'cause
is
we
that
see
he's
him.
actually very peaceful when we meet him.
Oh,
He's so
yeah.
gentle. It's just Francis kind of just took that image of him and was like, he's
Gotcha.
this character in my fantasy.
Okay. Dang. Pretty cool. Makes me want to watch Shutter Island again.
I know. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari always makes me want to rewatch Shutter Island. A different movie.
It would be cool to go back and watch Shutter Island though and see if there's more obvious influence of this movie on in the visuals.
Well, there's a part where he opened.
Shut the fuck up.
They open up a cabinet and he says, they're like, what is this? This is the kitchen cabinet. And all he's got is calamari. He's like, it's the cabinet of, it's Dr. Cabinet of Calamari.
Of course we got calamari. We're on an island.
And then Leonardo looks at the screen for like a second and you're like, there it is. Classic reference.
It's like one of those shining bits where Jack Nicholson looks at the camera, like, but it happens so fast that you don't realize
camera,
it. Yep.
But he is. If you
What if
pause
in
it.
Shutter Island there's just a guy ringing a bell the whole fucking time?
Ding, 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 ding. A big fucking bell. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think you need that. God.
I'm glad the movie was silent. That would have drove me fucking nuts.
Okay. In our
It's like Francis. Maybe that he was hearing that. Maybe that's what drove him nuts.
Maybe.
So until we get to our next reveal, like our next reveal isn't until farther into the movie. Like what, this movie's only like 70 minutes or something like
17 minutes, yeah.
72.
Oh,
Yeah.
72 minutes. Yeah. An hour and 17 minutes.
2019.
Fucking what is happening?
An hour and 12 minutes.
Hour and 12 minutes. But they catch like a dude who is the murderer, right? He's kind of like a red herring or something. Some random dude gets arrested for being a murderer.
All right, I know I don't mean this to sound insensitive, but the first thing it reminded me of, and I mean this sincerely, was in the story of the box. I swear to God, I'm being serious.
I love Zach and I are like suspicious immediately.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know. But in the
I'm not here to criticize the movie, but
in the story of Reuben Carter, the boxer,
the hurricane.
Yeah, and then Bob Dylan wrote the song "The Hurricane," and he talks about in the song how there was a crime, there was a murder, and they catch obviously Reuben Carter. They try to frame him and everything. They put him in prison, and there were these other criminals. And they basically come forward and they're like, yeah, we committed a crime. We just didn't do that crime. And it was kind of like highlighting how even when they step forward and admit to it, it's still not enough for this jury or these policemen to be like, all right, well, we're still going to blame him. It's like that's like the fucked up. It immediately reminded me of that. And it just.
Oh, that's a good parallel there. Totally. God, that's a good fucking song.
It is.
Sad fucking story.
Oh my God.
It's, obviously a true story, but
great movie with Denzel Washington, by the way.
Yeah, it is good. So yeah, they catch this other murderer guy. And meanwhile, Caesar goes and takes Jane. He fucking just like, he's going to stab her, but then she wakes up and he just like struggles with her and then he like carries her away.
I know we had mentioned, you had asked earlier what the scene reminded you of when the cabinet opens and Caesar comes out. This also reminds me big Dracula vibes of like coming in through the window, and you were talking about the emphasis on shadows and then coming in the girl sleeping in bed.
Like
Nosferatu, which is another German expressionistic movie.
But it didn't remind Zach of, it reminded him of Beef.
Beef, so. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's also that scene in Phantom of the Paradise where the Phantom is just like creeping outside the window.
Yeah.
But the girl's outside. She's outside the window with him, right?
No.
If memory serves.
Nope.
No?
She's inside.
She's inside.
She's inside banging the small record guy. Small record guy.
Soul. The one that I couldn't tell
if he was
a lesbian.
Yeah. Paul Williams.
Paul Williams.
Yeah, so Caesar takes the girl and he takes her and he just like fucking drops her off in the fucking street. and then just kind of
he's like, this is more
falls asleep again.
He's always asleep.
Yeah, and Francis is trying to put the blame. He's trying to find proof that Caligari is bad, is nefarious, and that Caesar is killing these people. But when he goes and watches him sleep all night, he's like, wait a minute, that's impossible, because how can Caesar have attacked Jane if he was well, of course, later it's revealed that he tries to put the blame on that guy who was jailed for the other murders, only to find out that the body was a fake.
Dude, when they picked up that body out of the fucking thing, I was like, because I didn't know that it was supposed to be a fake body. And I was like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah, what? Because it doesn't look good? Is that what you mean?
Like, because it's clearly like a fake, like they, 1919, I don't know what they fucking do to
a
hide
1920s
fucking
blow
thing.
up
And I
doll.
was like, dude, are you trying to make us believe that he picked up this guy and like he's just like holding him? But then I was like, oh, okay, it's in the story, it's meant to be a fake body. Maybe
that was setting up the fact that Francis is crazy, because he's like, I'm pretty sure that's a real body. Yeah. He hasn't moved once in the past 4 hours. Yeah. But no, when they realize that the body Caesar, the Caesar in the cabinet, it's not a cabinet. I hate calling it a cabinet because it's just not a cabinet. It's a coffin.
Okay.
Is fake. Dr. Caligari could easily just be like, oh, like he could kind of talk his way out of it.
Whoops.
He runs. Yeah. He fucking bolts.
He bolts. Yeah. And Francis chases him
to, of all places,
the insane asylum.
Yes. And he's like, hey, do you guys have a patient named Caligari? And they're like, you mean Dr. Caligari?
And then fucking Eugene Levy comes out and he's like, his fucking eyebrow. And he's like, yeah, I'll take you to him. And he takes him to the director's office and it's like, oh, there's Caligari. And it's like, oh, shit.
Just what if Eugene Levy just showed up for like 5 seconds in this movie just to lead him there? And that's it.
But yeah, so this is, and then they kind of like get into all his old books where he's like, I don't know, what do they do with him? He's like sleeping somewhere. They like put him somewhere to go to sleep.
This is where I started getting a little confused, because they kept cutting away to the doctor sleeping. They said he's asleep in his villa.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, and maybe I misunderstood, but they said the real doctor is asleep in the villa and that Caligari was only posing as the director.
Oh.
I was getting a little like, whoa, we're in the weeds now, you guys. You're introducing characters.
Because also, like, if I'm not mistaken, the doctor's name is not Caligari.
No.
Like, he took that name.
Yes.
He put that as almost like a title. Like, he put that title on himself.
So Dr. Olson, so they're in the office, they're going through the doctor's shit, and they find a book on, of all things, somnambulism. And there's a chapter called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and it refers to a mystic in 1783 who toured fairs with a somnambulist, Caesar, and murdered people. It's identical to the situation. So the idea was he read this, was inspired, and wanted to recreate that.
Gotcha.
That was the idea.
So I wonder if like Francis read that book.
That's what I'm thinking. So that's the thing is, they say it's like you don't want to over explain in a movie. They, like for writers, it's like give the audience A plus B, don't give them C. Let them kind of put it together. The thing is because this is 1920, resources are a little slimmer than they are nowadays, and time and the way we kind of explain things with a little bit more I don't know. I don't want to besmirch the 20s or say that like they didn't do it with grace, but I think we've evolved in the way we reveal twists,
Yeah.
Back then it was sort of just like, aha, wow, crazy, right? Now it's like, yeah, but I don't understand like why, like what's the logic behind it?
Yeah.
Like give me something. So yeah, I think the idea would be Francis would have had this book, and in his, either he did these things, he killed people, and that's why he's in the asylum, or he had this book on some somnambulism, and was just, it's all just manifesting in his head. And he's just sort of conflating all of it together.
Right.
Yeah, it's tough. It's, and maybe it doesn't, again, like we also said too, when we were talking about German Expressionism, it wasn't so much about understanding the story, it's just the feeling of it. So like what it evokes. So maybe we're like picking it apart too much, but
sure.
Why we're here.
Well, it's like one of those things. It's like open. And I think you might have mentioned this earlier, but it's like open to interpretation. It goes back to what you literally just said about it's more of a feeling. It's like a poem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can maybe there's like a through line and there's like a surface level meaning and story, but also it's like, oh, but this is what I get out of it, or this is what
But yeah, it says the doctor wanted to test the theory that a somnambulist can be puppeteered to unknowingly commit murder. Became his obsession, and then he took the name Caligari.
Okay.
And then went to the fairs and travel around, just like the source material. So again, it's in his head. It's maybe he did it, maybe that didn't, but that's the idea. Yeah, that's what the movie. That's at least as far as like, because this is pre-twist reveal. This is this is the information we're given as the audience.
Yeah. Because now in our 6th reveal, Dr. Olson confronts Dr. Caligari. And Caligari like goes nuts, right? And tries to
they
choke
bring the
guy.
corpse.
Whose corpse?
They bring Caesar's corpse.
Oh, they bring Caesar's corpse, right. Because Caesar like died after he carried Jane away. I thought he fell asleep, but I guess you guys say he was sleeping the whole time, so he died.
Well, that's the thing. The thing is the second Caligari sees him someone who's dead could look like they're sleeping. So if you think about it, Caligari really predominantly knows or is familiar with Caesar in this sleeping state. So it's funny that when they show him, as far as we know, asleep, he freaks out and is like, he's dead. I'm the killer. Like, I'm bad. It's like, give it a second. You should just assume
see if
he's asleep.
Put your finger under his nose or something. See if he's fucking breathing.
It's not like it's unusual for him to be in this, like, visually this state,
Yeah. And then so
my note was breaks down when he sees Caesar's corpse. Oddly doesn't even consider that he's sleeping, all things considered.
So in Francis's story, that's like the end of it. It like wraps up.
Yeah.
So then we go back to
Caligari's put into a straitjacket too.
Oh, that's right.
So it's zero subtleties. He's crazy.
But now we're back in like, I guess, present time. And Francis is talking to the old guy, whoever the fuck he is, and he's walking him around the asylum. And then we see Caesar. And so our last and final reveal is Francis introducing this old man to Caesar in the thing. He's like,
quote unquote real Caesar.
Right. Yes. He's like, that's the dude.
Yeah.
So,
and he warns him. He's like, don't let him tell you your fortune. And you see the guy kind of look at Francis, and that's where it turns, where Francis looks at him and is like, the guy looks at Francis and is like, in that very silent film, overacting kind of like way, like, whoa, like to tell the audience, like, wait, there's something wrong with Francis, actually.
Danny, we made a silent film. Do you remember that?
We did make a silent
in school
film.
I remember because like if you're a college kid and you got to make a silent film, like the big gag that like of course you're gonna do is have a hell of a lot of talking and then a title card that says like 2 words, and that was you on screen. Like you like had this big long monologue about something, and then we put up a title card that said like, don't do that or something like that.
It was like, because the whole idea was we were shooting, the joke was you have to put like a net to cover a light so that it doesn't exceed the light, like doesn't exceed a certain whatever.
Yeah, we were like fucking college kids in film school making a silent movie about like how to light a scene.
Yeah,
it was
how to light a scene. Very like Inside Baseball, but like the most boring Inside Baseball.
Yeah.
And I was the guy who was checking the levels to make sure.
Yeah.
And I remember being nervous about that scene.
I gotta find that. It's got to be somewhere.
I think Ryan Sebastian has it on his Facebook.
Oh my
I
God.
believe he
I
has
think
if you
you're
go to
right.
his videos.
I'll see if I can get it. Put it
Yeah,
on
I
there.
do like a whole like visual, like I remember like being very physical.
Uh-huh.
I remember having a lot of fun with that, and then it just like cuts to text
Yeah.
of like, don't do that. Yeah, like you said.
Oh my God. So funny.
Yeah, we won we submitted that to the Short Film Academy Awards. We actually won an Oscar for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should check it out.
Like an Oscar of fucking, you suck, don't do this again. He's an Oscar for sucking.
It was that we got an Oscar Mayer wiener. That's what that's the origin story of Hot Dog Talk with the boys.
Yeah. And then so we find out that Francis is the one that's crazy. I'm sorry, insane, or however you want to put it. I don't really like to use the word crazy anymore, but and then there's a final title card at the end, and where I was watching on Shudder like didn't have subtitles pop up. Did it for you?
No. And
Okay.
I was like, I don't understand what the fuck is happening. So I had to Google it and was like, what happens at the end of the cabinet of Dr. Caligari?
Okay. I just didn't know if there was something that like I was supposed to get on that last title card.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what on my Google search was. So the idea is that, yeah, Francis is one of the patients, yada, yada, yada. And the director, quote unquote, AKA who we know as Dr. Caligari, basically says like, after hearing all this shit, like I figured it out. And he believes he can cure Francis.
Okay.
But the idea is, the irony, I guess, is that it's just another form of control. You know, who this actor was playing in Caesar. Oh my God, hold on. Let me step back because this is too confusing. Who the director was portrayed
You put
as.
Casey to sleep, by the way.
I'm so sorry, Casey. Casey, kill for me. No, but the whole thing with the movie was, and again, like to bring it back to what we were talking about what these filmmakers and artists of the time were trying to do with this style in this subgenre, was reflecting on how they felt. You know, that feeling of losing their autonomy and feeling like they were being controlled or forced to conform. So the irony is that, or not even the irony, I guess we're kind of seeing the reality of what Francis was showing us in his head, in his manifestations, was that he was feeling completely controlled.
Also, just so you know, every time you say Francis, I picture Mark Holden from Big Adventure.
Yeah, definitely not thinking about Dr. Caligari.
Okay, that is it. That is the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, our first fucking silent film on How I Met Your Monster,
And our
oldest movie. And now it is
Give
time.
us a break, movies. We went with the oldest. Now you're not going to give us audio?
Jeez.
Good Lord.
What were they thinking? But now it's time to choose our favorite reveals in the cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
What's going on here?
I don't see anything anywhere.
That's how they get you. They're under the goddamn ground.
Okay, so new tradition has started. I have some titles for these reveals, and some of them might not make any fucking sense, but I don't fucking care. So
Did the movie?
yes,
No.
these are more of a feeling than an actual like.
We're
logic.
evoking an emotion.
Yeah.
You should have an emotional response to this, is what Zach's trying to say.
So
Zach's trying to say, you literally said that. What Zach is trying to say is what he just said.
Okay, here's a speed round recap with some title cards. Ooh, title cards.
Ooh.
Anyways, number 1, Caligari wants a big boy chair. This is when he goes up to the town clerk who is sitting on a big chair and he fucking wants it. Number 2, beef Caesar salad. This is when we are introduced to Caesar, who reminded me of beef, and so it's a beef Caesar salad. Number 3, Shadow Puppets Gone Wild, The Killing of Alan.
Love it.
Number 4, Not my best, but number 4 is Stranger Danger. This is where Jane meets Caligari.
Clean.
No.
Clean and neat.
What happened to Baby Jane?
Oh, that would have been a good one. Yeah.
What happened to
Baby
adult
Jane?
Jane?
What happened to adult Jane? Number 5 is Me Caesar, You Jane. When Jane meets Caesar. Number
Little Planet of the Apes reference for you. Rise of the Planet of the Apes reference.
I was thinking more like Tarzan.
Mm-hmm.
But
because he's a Caesar.
But if we're going with Tim Burton, we might as well go with Planet of the Apes.
Oh my God! And Tim Burton directed a remake of Planet of the Apes. Oh my
God. Number 6, Mary Kate's dad confronts Caligari.
Where's Mary Kate?
Olsen,
Oh my
Dr. Olsen.
God.
Mary Kate and Ashley's dad.
Mary Kate and Ashley's dad confronts Caligari. And then number 7, our last and final reveal is beef Caesar salad is on the senior discount menu. Because the old guy is introduced to Caesar. So,
all right, can we cancel Zach out of this?
These are feeling induced titles.
Zach, I didn't understand a word of what you said, but I've been crying for the last 3 minutes.
Then I've done my job, sir. I've done my job. Casey, I want to keep you awake. So what is your favorite reveal? And you must
reveal is
say the title.
What happened to adult Jane?
Oh, of course, the title that you gave. Is that just because it's the only
like that one anyway. No, I like that one anyway, just because it was the most memorable to me because of the way that she was like fighting back and like the cuts while they were fighting. And yeah. And then when he was dragging.
Okay, well, this is what happened to adult Jane was when Jane meets Caligari outside the tent, which is pretty boring.
Never mind then.
I'd argue it's the worst scene, Casey.
You're talking about when Caesar King Kong's Jane.
Yeah.
And takes her away. Okay.
That one. When he drags her away, he also still has like the canopy from the bed and it looks like her dress is really long.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. Yeah. And then he like busts out the window.
Well,
but it's like sort of like a window.
Suspiciously like this like railing that he just goes like this. Yeah. And it's,
oh yeah, you like take it's like taking the window frame off. He's like, right?
Yeah.
Danny, what's your favorite reveal?
My favorite is the beef Caesar salad. It's Caesar's first reveal when he wakes up and they open the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a great image. It's a great visual. I feel like it's kind of iconic. Even if you haven't seen this movie, maybe you've seen that picture of Caesar.
Right.
You probably think, is that Caligari? No, it's not.
We have an Instagram follower of the show who has their profile picture. It's a gothic horror lover, I believe their name is. And their profile picture is Caligari. No, I'm sorry, Caesar.
Yeah. Oh, see?
Caesar. Yeah.
It gets you. You think it's one thing and then it's the other. But yeah. So shout out. Let's I don't want to take your autonomy away from you like Dr. Caligari, aka the director, does to Francis. But I kind of want to force you to agree with me that this episode should be dedicated to this follower.
Yeah, absolutely. We hereby dedicate the cabinet of Dr. Caligari in our Mad Scientist triple feature to Gothic Horror Lover.
Also, aka Gothic Angel of Darkness. This one's for you.
Nice. Awesome. So I think my favorite reveal is it's probably beef Caesar salad, but
listen, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but when you say beef Caesar salad, I think of beef from what, like how you were talking about, and then sees her salad, meaning sees her asshole. And I just want you guys to know that.
Well, it's the scene where he sees her asshole.
When did
the confusion?
Oh, I don't know. Tossing salad means eating ass.
I get it. I understand that, but like, I wonder when the asshole became salad.
Well, I don't know. I'll figure it out while you talk about your favorite reveal.
Well, doesn't your asshole look like a salad?
A big leafy green, or like fucking what's the fucking iceberg lettuce.
Asshole, dead ahead. A reference that also includes Kate Winslet, who we mentioned in the J.M. Barrie movie Finding Neverland.
Who also includes Leonardo DiCaprio, which we mentioned in Shutter Island.
Yes. Oh my God. This movie is also dedicated to Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Zach, you're supposed to be talking about your reveal.
Which also it has Billy Zane, which, if I'm not mistaken, was a bad guy in The Shadow. No, never mind. The Shadow came out.
He is a bad guy in a future movie that we will be doing on this show.
Oh yes, yeah. Ooh, I do know. That was my Jeff Goldblum. Ooh, yes. Yes. No, I think I'm thinking of The Phantom, which came out like the same time as The Shadow.
Oh, The Phantom or The Shadow, one of the same.
Anyways, my favorite
not to be confused with Phantoms
with Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck and Rose McGowan, who was in Scream.
Who Ben Affleck references
I gotta go.
Ben Affleck references his own character in Jay and Silent Bob, directed by Kevin Smith, who directed Tusk, our first movie in the Mad Scientist triple feature.
This Mad Scientist triple feature.
Anyways, my favorite reveal is probably, it's going to be Shadow Puppets Gone Wild. I love like the shadow fight where like you didn't actually see what was happening. Like you saw Alan's reaction, but then everything else was just in shadow.
Right? Which is fitting for, again, what we talked about with German Expressionism. You don't see the fight. You kind of, you vibe with it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah.
Classic vibe fight. Classic German vibe fight.
Take what's yours, Grandpapa. Okay.
It's true, Sandy. There was a rat's fetus inside.
Is that what the director says at the end of this movie?
Yeah. That's the last title card. Okay, now it is time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
So I'm going to go first. My real monster is, that's right. I said it. My real monster is the cinematographer of this movie. Just
arguably the hero, but continue.
Well, that's why I'm so conflicted that's why I'm so conflicted.
Go off, Queen.
Or no,
you're wrong.
You know what? It might not be the cinematographer. It might be the editor. Who just fucking enough with the fucking, fade to the circle fades where they go in and just like.
That's fucking Scorsese. That he was influenced by this movie because in fucking The Departed, he does that all the time with the circle and the opening on the hole with the going to the hole.
Which
the
like,
salad.
That's okay. But it was
always
just like
with the butthole, Marty.
Like every scene was like that, and I was just like, what?
Really?
Okay.
I only noticed it like 3 times.
Oh well.
Yeah, I just noticed it the first 3 times too.
Or maybe it was like, when they did like the close-ups of Francis and the old guy at the beginning, it was like a wide shot, and then when they did the close-ups, they were in like a circle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They just kept going in and out in the conversation. It's like,
whoa. It's hard to have a real monster in a movie like this where everything is kind of just trippy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where it's like nothing is really, I guess it's played serious, but also it's kind of dreamlike. So everything is kind of.
It's full of whimsy.
Whimsy. There you go.
It's our most whimsical, confusing one we've done yet.
Mm-hmm.
And we've watched Gothic.
Oh, dude, that was good. Casey, do you have a real monster?
I love that you love
Caligari?
that. I love that you love that movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love that.
Because I know you went into it. I
picked
remember the start of that episode where you were like, And then by the end of it, you were like,
oh, totally. After watching Gothic, I was like, okay, like it happened. And then after we talked about it, I was like, dude, this movie's fucking awesome.
You heard it here, folks. It's a fan favorite on the How I Met Your Monster podcast.
Mm-hmm. Casey, real monster, Caligari. Go.
Danny, what's the word for sleepwalker?
Somnambulist.
It's that, because don't be fancy. Just say sleepwalker.
Oh, I thought you were talking to Danny, and I was like, you just asked him.
Danny,
No, it's
don't
that
do
word.
that.
No, my real
If
monster
I
is
ask
that
you a
word.
question, don't answer.
Don't do that. Okay. Yeah. I was like,
I'm with you.
I didn't look it up, but I was like, fuck, that's a weird word. Danny, real monster.
Wait. So you went through this whole movie not realizing this man was asleep. No wonder you keep saying...
Zach thought a somnambulist was someone who doesn't sleep. So he was very
I thought
confused.
you were asleep. I thought I was awake.
Oh, you were sleeping.
No, I thought you were awake.
No, they say that he has been sleeping forever and that he's waking
for
up
23
and
years.
going to
That's
sleep.
right. Never mind.
But they do call him a somnambulist, and I was like,
Zach thought it would mean a 23-year-old. I remember when I was a somnambulist. That was the best year of my life.
Danny, when you guys are done making fun of poor Zach over here,
only the somnambulist-year-old Zach. I just have a couple. One, thought there'd be more cabinets.
Yeah, less Caligaris, more cabinets.
Yeah,
There's not even one cabinet.
no, it's a coffin, and even then you find out it's a bed because he's alive. And the more realistic real monster is the way that mental health issues were portrayed back in the day. There was like it was the otherness of it, and there was kind of an implied danger to someone who was suffering from like a mental health issue. And in the movie, which you see in a lot of movies, even up until like a couple decades ago, honestly, and maybe that's a stretch, but it's sort of like if you're in a hospital getting treated for a mental health issue, you just sort of are, perceived as wacky, like there's really no definitive ailment. It's just it's like a physical expression of whatever.
Well, it's like anybody
off.
that was different.
I was going to say, back in the day,
like,
they would literally put you in a mental institution for reading books.
Jesus. Well, yeah, I'm adding that to my real monster list too, Danny. Now that you say that, just like
well, what's
mental
the
health
movie
facilities up until like the fucking 80s, maybe.
Yeah,
even
because even in the
who were
70s, they were like, there was they had people with autism in there that were like chained to fucking radiators. You know what I mean? And it's fucking insane. What's happening in the world today with mental health is fucked up, and it should be going one way, but it's going backwards, and it's not fucking cool. But you guys, it's time for our last segment. Would you survive the cabinet of Dr. Caligari?
And here we go.
Yeah.
This is a tough one.
Is it?
I have some thoughts on this, but I'll wait for my turn.
I
I guess I might get lost in the fucking sets, the perspective of the sets, but
Zach, what if I were to tell you, Zach, this isn't real?
Whoa.
This whole podcast has just been a way for us to evaluate your mental state.
Oh, dude.
Did it work?
I don't want to know the outcome. Did it work?
We're having a hard time.
You've been trying to understand who the monster is. And we've been trying to figure out what the monster means to you.
Dang.
Yeah.
Onions.
It turns out it's onions. So we just cut out. So basically what we're going to do is, as your doctor, I'm going to cut onions out of your diet. And I think you're good to go. I'm going to discharge you tomorrow. It's been a good 4 years trying to figure that out.
Oh God, I do like onions though. But
shit, you're back in. Get him back in. It didn't work.
Yeah, I think I would survive.
Okay.
I think we'd all be fine.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say. Zach, I'm glad you asked. So I was thinking, in terms of what this movie is saying on a deeper level, no. I don't think any of us are currently surviving a mad world, making us believe that we must be the mad ones.
Ooh.
This is supposed to be fun.
This is getting too fucking real.
To be fun. This is supposed to be traumatic. We are meant to face our demons, aka our monsters, who we meet face on, head on, face on,
Face on.
Face Off, starring John Travolta, Nicolas Cage, this summer. With that said, there is always hope. And to quote The Shawshank Redemption, hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. So, hope survives. We'll probably die, but hope won't. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Academy.
And William Sadler is in Shawshank Redemption, who will be in a movie with Billy Zane that we're going to cover later in this fucking
in like
show.
7 months.
In 7 months.
Because we're so prepared.
What Billy Zane movie are we covering?
That's the thing. If you listen to this show...
I don't know anything.
We're dropping hints. We're dropping hints all over the place.
If you can figure out the movie we're doing.
Casey's Googling right now. She doesn't remember.
I'm gonna dear listeners, I am going to challenge you to determine what movie we're talking about without.
They're just gonna Google it like I did.
No, but without Googling it. Mm-hmm. This is how much I trust people.
Yep, honor system.
You know, unlike Francis, I trust people. I trust that you won't Google it and you will figure out what the movie is. If you message us with the name of the movie, we will give you free episodes from here on out.
If you message us with
unless you want to listen to the first 50, then you have to pay for Patreon.
Yeah. If you message us with the correct answer and you're not already a Patreon subscriber, you will get 1 free month of Patreon.
Yes. But you have to pay for it. It's free on like an emotional level. Kind of like German Expressionism.
It's literally free for a month. And then you have to pay for it. There is a direct interpretation here. This coupon gives you 1 free month of Patreon. On that note, it's time for Casey to go to sleep.
We have this is the end of a triple feature.
Oh,
we have to introduce our new triple feature. Casey, wake up.
Okay, so our newest triple feature, Danny, why don't you go ahead and introduce it because it's yours. You picked it.
It's a cruel summer, leaving me here on my own. It's a cruel summer. Now you're gone. All right, it's Cruel Summer is the name of our triple feature. Because summer is the months in which we'll be doing this, and cruel because cruel horror. There's a song called Cruel Summer. Also, when I was trying to figure out what my triple feature would be, I was watching The Karate Kid, and they played Cruel Summer in the movie, and I was like, there it is.
Perfect.
Made it up, made my mind for me.
Good. So, okay. I guess I go first. My pick for Cruel Summer is a favorite of mine. It's a favorite of a lot of people's. It's a very fun movie. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh, so exciting. Can't believe we've never done it.
Well, we're doing it now. I mean, you can't do all the movies at once. You know what I mean?
That's a shame.
So I'm excited. From Dusk Till Dawn. It's a good one. Casey, your pick is next. Do you remember what it is?
Yeah.
Do you know where you are?
No. I don't know what movie I picked.
You don't know what movie you picked.
No, I don't.
I'll set it up. We're going on a vacation, but it's not going to be a fun one.
Yeah, but you might even say it might even get ruined along the way.
Yeah, it'll get ruined.
Oh, the ruins. The ruins.
The ruins.
The ruins.
We're going to watch The Ruins?
Yeah, of course I picked that.
Fuck yeah.
Movie.
And Danny, what are we rounding out the triple feature with?
Well, we're kicking off with a road trip from Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of the road, we're going to be ruins. We're going to be on vacation. Shit's going to go south. And we're going to go south to South America.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to wrap it all up with the iconic, the classic, the bloody Friday the 13th, the final chapter, the last Jason movie ever made.
You want to know what I think is funny is that, like, so for our Rotten Eggs triple feature, I picked a classic sequel, Critters 2. Casey picked a classic sequel. Danny picked Jurassic Park. Now for this one, I'm doing From Dusk Till Dawn, which, spoiler alert, if you remember the ending, it pulls out and there's like a fucking Mayan temple right? Then Casey picks The Ruins, which is like a fucking Mayan temple. And then Danny picks Friday the 13th, part 4.
Yeah, so Zach and I are always on the same page. Well, this happens.
That's Mayan.
This
man.
happens, yeah.
Yeah.
Danny's always a little off the beaten
I
path.
picked Tusk, turning a
Always
dude into an
little
animal.
off.
Casey picks the Island of Dr. Moreau, turning people into animals. Danny picks the Doctor.
What about a silent German film from the 20s?
Do you remember for Christmas you wanted to do that movie about cat people that no one's ever fucking heard
That
of?
was a sequel.
Oh God, we love you, Danny.
And
Thank
then we
you,
did
ditto.
Kronos, which I guess was better.
No, I love
that's
Friday the 13th final chapter. It's great. I'm excited to do another Jason movie. It's been since
It's been a while.
4 years.
like, yeah, we did it at the beginning of the show. So
Yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be, I was excited for my triple feature choice to be like dead set in the summer. So I felt like an obligation to be like, let's go deep into summer. Let's enjoy it. I love a good summer vibe.
mhm.
And I could not be happier with the movies we've picked.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So make sure to check that out. And now, where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Awesome. Danny, tell us about your candy fixation.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked. I'm also on Instagram and Blue Sky, not as often. At my name, just Danny Salem, DANNYSALEMME. That's 2 M's like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And you can find me on social media at Zach Winsick.
All right, who wants to tuck Casey in?
Dr. Caligari,
Somebody, please.
Caesar, beef Caesar salad is there.
I wish I was
okay.
Caesar. I wish I
I
could
wish
just sleep
beef
for
tucked
23
me into
years.
bed at night.
I wish I had some beef.
Mm.
So that's it. Thank you for joining us for our Mad Scientist Triple feature. And as always, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.